What's up, everybody? This is your boy DC Black coming to you yet again with another movie review. It's Christmas time. Merry Christmas to everybody watching this video. If you are somehow in the future and you're watching this video, happy whatever day it is for you. So, the movie I will be reviewing today is Wonder Woman 84. Now, this movie has Warner Brothers themselves have been riddled with controversy recently. I'm not going to necessarily get into that because it's a very long story. But Wonder Woman 84 is, I will say, is not the movie you would expect it to be. It's not. It's not really, I'll be honest, it's not really the movie the trailers even made it out to be. And the reason why I say that is because you think you're getting a superhero, a traditional superhero movie, but what you're actually getting is there's a message, a big message this in this movie. And I think personally, this is a fantastic film. Let me just preface it with that. I think it's a fantastic film. Is it better than one? No, it's not. Is the villain in this movie better than one? Depends on how you look at it. Because if you really look at, I rewatched one before I watched two, and if you really rewatch one was very, one would have meta context in it as just as much as two did. I think two had more though. I think what you're going to really see in this is that two wants to get over a point versus one, you got action sequences, you got the basics, the superhero stuff, but two really wanted to tell you something. Two wanted to get across the point. So this is going to be a spoiler free review. Like I said, I think this is a fantastic film. I think where this movie messes up at is that it defies expectations, and the meta context in a lot of this in this movie will definitely turn you away. So just to kind of tell you, we do have our main villains, which you've seen in the trailers. Max, you have Cheetah in there. Maxwell Lord is definitely plays a role in this movie, but this movie's context, especially the beginning of this film, where you have the beginning of this movie where you start off with young Diana Prince, and she's going, which by the way, this isn't spoiler because the whole first scene is on the internet, and Warner Brothers basically put it out. The whole first scene was her in this basically pantheistic competition, and her basically going through and essentially trying to win the competition. But in that you get oh gosh, I'm about to butcher her name. Antiope. Thank you. Antiope. Give her this message about truth and lies. And that's what this movie really is about. This movie is really about truth and lies and the damage both of them cause. Because, I mean, whether you like it or not, the truth does cause damage. Now, for the most part, the truth does set a person free, but the truth causes damage in the fact that it shatters your persona, or it shatters your perspective, if you would. The truth can shatter your perspective, while a lie can be damaging as well, because a lie kind of words. A lie can perpetuate something that's just, as the definition of lie, is not true, and that causes its own damage. And this movie is, in its most basic sense, is a movie about truth and lies, and it is showing you what can happen with both. And I personally really like that. I like the fact that it wasn't a traditional superhero movie, but it it had the superhero aspects in there, but it was really trying to tell a message. And it's ironic that Patty Jenkins pushed this movie back when she to 2019, and then it got pushed back to when it to Christmas 2020 eventually after the pandemic and things like that. I think it's ironic that that happened because especially with this time, not to get I'm not going to get super political or anything like that, but in a time where people don't trust their own media, when people don't trust the media, when people don't, especially mainstream media, in a time when people don't trust mainstream media, people don't trust necessarily what comes out of people's mouths. Even video evidence, people don't really necessarily have there's the trust factor is gone, and there's not, and there are some people that are seeking the truth, and you have people that are living by their own truth. But in this movie, they acknowledge the fact that the truth is immutable, that the truth doesn't change, and that essentially the truth is singular in nature. It's not really there's not really multiple truths. There's just the truth, and everything else is essentially a lie. And I like that. My favorite character in this movie will definitely be Maxwell Lord. I love the fact, and it was a very much so a departure from how he is in the comics. It was a departure while keeping some elements, but still departing from it. Because in the comics, Maxwell Lord is essentially he has the ability to manipulate, and he can make you do whatever he wants you to do. They kind of did that a little bit in a very weird way. They did it, and because they wanted to keep the magical aspect. I would be very interested to see if in a more updated, probably more recent in the comic book style, because I know Maxwell Lord just showed up. If this similar situation didn't play out, but his character was my favorite because you saw layers to his character, and you saw ultimately the reason why he did this. And it was because even he himself was selling himself a lie. And he was, he did what he was doing, he was going around doing the stuff he was doing in the movie, but he was selling himself a lie. And it wasn't until he was hit with truth that he understood that even the stuff and I think it was powerful for me because I could relate in some instances of understanding why you do some of the stuff that you do. And you having to think back to your own past and understanding, oh shoot, this is kind of where that came from. And with that, Wonder Woman made him see that, essentially hitting him with truth. And it will be very interesting to see why people don't like it. I've seen some people say it was boring, that this really wasn't really entertaining, and they were really confused by it. I don't know. Like, this was a movie that was not a traditional superhero movie, and that was not the purpose of this movie. I get that this was, I think I get it. Like, this was supposed to be a movie with a deeper meaning. But it was just using the comic book characters to tell a larger narrative. The stuff I didn't like about this movie, because I will say there were some things that I thought was kind of bad. Like, for instance, there was one scene in the trailer where she's running down the street and she grabs and she throws the lasso. She throws the lasso, and when she throws the lasso, she grabs it. She's running to throw her lasso so that she can jump high. Her running looked really bad. And I know I saw the behind the scenes footage where they had her on a wire, where they were doing her wire work, where when she jumps up, that running was terrible. Like, it looked bad. There were some cases, even when I rewatched 1, there were some cases even then where I saw the CGI and I was like, it was cool. Wasn't the greatest, but it was cool. But it was like every scene where she was it's almost like every scene she was running, it was sloppy. It was like sloppily done. Like they didn't know how to film her run, film the fact that Wonder Woman can run really fast. They didn't know how to shoot that, so they just blocked it, I guess. I don't know. Uh, that was my real gripe with the movie, was the CGI for that was bad. Cheetah, seeing the movie compared to the reveal in the trailer when they showed Cheetah, I don't know why. Uh, I liked it. I liked it. It wasn't animated Cheetah. I understand the fact that some things is animated don't work live action, and some stuff work live action don't look good animated. Because if this Cheetah was animated, she would look dirty. Like she would look real dirty. I'm like, nope, this is not even the colors of a cheetah. But if they would have took the colors of a cheetah and put this in the movie, it would look very bad. So I like what they did with that. I don't like what they did with Cheetah's character. Um, I don't like what they did with her character. I personally think that her character they should have done more with her character, and she should have been around a bit longer, especially considering the fact that Cheetah is a big villain for, Wonder Woman. And for her to go out the way she did, I wasn't feeling that at all. I didn't, that wasn't, something that I cared for. Um, I was also I wasn't disappointed with the way. At first, I thought I was going to be disappointed with what they did with Steve Trevor, but by the end of it, I was happy because I understood the reason he was there. I understood the reason he was there. Back to that idea of truth and lies. Yeah, this movie had a lot of meta context about lies, which I would love to rewatch because I would love to see what everybody's lie was, then what was everyone's truth. Um, I would love to be able to do that. Go back and rewatch it. And really analyze, okay, what was everybody's lie that they was telling themselves, or the lie that they said? And then what was their truth? What was the truth that was shined on that lie? But yeah, that's what and then, man, the ending, the last scene that Maxwell Lord had, the kid, I don't know who the kid was that played there was a kid in here. Like I said, I don't want to spoil it. There was a kid in this movie that his role, by the end of it, I was like, wow. And Maxwell Lord's, like his ending scene, I was like, wow, like that legit hit me in the feels. I didn't cry, but I was like, yeah, I totally relate. Like, and it wasn't a good relate either. I totally relate in a very bad way, and I shouldn't, and I shouldn't be able to relate to it because art, number one, is art, and you can relate to art sometimes. But the reason why I did relate to it, it was like, dang, like that's crazy. And it just showed, even just personally for me, that I had healed from some things that I didn't think. I was like, oh wow, oh wow, that didn't, that would have affected me in a different part of time in my life. That would have affected me, but it didn't now. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. But I could see myself, like, it was so crazy that I could see myself as one of the characters. But yeah, this was a fantastic movie. Like, I don't see why people is upset about this movie. I get it that it was not the superhero movie we were looking for. I totally get it. And if you were to say, hey, I saw the trailer and I was expecting one thing and got something else, I'll be like, okay, I agree with you, because this is the same thing with even the Star Wars sequels, that we were presented one thing, but we got something else. But this movie was very, very good. Very good movie. If I was to rate this movie, I'll probably give it about 4 stars. Probably give it 4 stars. Only reason I wouldn't give it 5 is because some of the running CGI was just straight up bad. Like, I don't know. I don't know what they thought they were doing, but it was bad. No, that person that did the running should be fired. That was unacceptable. Um, but this movie was really good in the message, and I love the message in this film. Love the message. As just a film in general, oh, this would be like like I said, it will still be four. It'd be about four, actually be 4.5. It's just what they did was what they did with Cheetah, and that CGI is what will stop me from not giving it a 5 out of 5, A plus, whatever you want to call, however you want to call it. But yeah, I really like this movie. Really like this movie. Definitely is a rewatch. I definitely says there's rewatch value to it because, like I said, there's a lot of meta context, contextual things in there about truth and lies. So, one more thing before I kind of close this video out. I am super behind on Mandalorian reviews. I know. Please forgive me. I'm going to get to them before the end of the year. Some of the episodes, I didn't watch the final episode of this season. I rewatched the Ahsoka episode just so I can remember some things, and I am going to come back. And the Ahsoka episode and the episode after that, I want to just review those together because they kind of fit. And then the last two episodes, I want to review them together because they kind of fit together. So, with that being said, I just had to do a little housekeeping there. I'm going to wrap this video up. If you guys like what you've seen here, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you